So now let's take a listen to our before and our after. So what I'm gonna do is turn off Studio EQ, VST Dynamics, compressor, de-esser, and come to our main lead and turn off the first plugin that we started with, Maximizer, and take a listen to our before, the plugins. And now what I'm gonna do is turn on Maximizer and turn on all the plugins, and this is gonna be our after. So Studio EQ, VST Dynamics, compressor, de-esser. This is how far we've gotten.
Ni Yesu yeka enga kupususha Isa kuli Yesu yeka ni Yesu yeka enga kupususha.
Beautiful, right? Hello, welcome to Pro Mixing and Mastering. Today we are doing mixing vocals from start to finish using Cubase plugins, only Cubase plugins. So let me show you. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed to Pro Mixing and Mastering. I want to welcome you to the Pro Mixing and Mastering family. Welcome. Pretty low, right? So I'm gonna try to mix these vocals using Cubase plugin. So let's go ahead and let me show you all these vocals. The leads, which is this one right here, it is connected to group number 1. So all the leads are connected to this group. Already created my group. If you do not know how to create groups, check out the videos that I did on how to create group channel tracks into the leading vocal. The first thing that I'm gonna do is add Maximizer just to maximize the vocal a little bit. So let's go ahead and get Maximizer from Dynamics. So here is Cubase Maximizer. So I'm just gonna set it like that. All right, take a listen to this now. We have a little bit of some volume going on to the vocal right now. And now the next thing that I want to add into group number 1 over to our leads, come to select effect type 2, is a compressor just to compress the vocal a little bit. Then I'm also gonna add dynamics. This one is gonna be for dynamics. So let's go ahead, go into dynamics and get these dynamics from Cubase, VST Dynamics, this one right here. So I'm gonna be using that as well. For now I'm gonna turn it off. So compressor, then on this part I'm gonna get Studio EQ. That's how you do it. Put an EQ, let your first plugin be an EQ. So let me go ahead and look for Studio EQ from Cubase. So this is the EQ that we are gonna use. Just turn it on just like this. I'm gonna turn on all the 4 bands and then turn it off for now. Then I'm just gonna try to raise up the gain of the compressor just a little bit so that I can get what's really going on with the vocal. All right, we have beautiful vocal volume right there. I have used my Dynamics VST Dynamics from Cubase to add 1 dB of output volume. Then this VST Dynamic plugin Dynamics has Get, just to silence those parts where the singer is not singing. Then it also comes with a compressor. All right, then it also comes with a limiter. So this is a limiter right here, and of course I'm going to use this limiter onto these vocals so that my vocal should not clip. So I'm going to just turn it on for now. Then I'm gonna put a Get Dynamics get just de-esser. I mean, I'm gonna get a de-esser to de-ess some of those. I'm gonna use Cubase de-esser just to tame those S's. Put it on male light. This is gonna help remove somewhere around 8 dB of S's, and that is really gonna control the vocal a little bit. Let's go ahead now and EQ our vocal. I want to give this vocal a little bit of that warmth and low end, and how I do it is that I raise around 200 hertz area and just give it that boost, which is about maybe 3 to 4 dB. What I've done right there is just to give the vocal that sheen, that top end sheen or high, a little bit of that distortion around which is around 10,000 K and 20K area. So it's a good place. You can raise just a little bit. Do not over raise it. Do not put too much, or else the vocal is gonna sound sharp and, you know, unprofessional. So the reason why I did that is because I lifted up around 200. 200 is helping the vocal to have that low end and warmth, and at the same time, once I come to this area and lift it up, the vocal is gonna have that round warm low end, which is mixed with the highs, and it really gives that good vintage and, you know, professional sounding vocal. And then this area that I've cut right here, which is around 1k 1000 kilohertz, it helps to remove that, you know, that nozzle sharpness from the vocal, and just helps the vocal, leaves the vocal sounding cleaner and nice. A cut which is a low cut like this, just to remove that low rumble or bass area, which may end up destroying the vocal once the song's played in big speakers or sound system. So you just have to always make sure that you cut a little bit just to remove that low rumble. Now, to help the vocal stand out and sound much better, I have raised up the output, given the output gain, which is 2.5, just to give the vocal that power and output volume. Now let us go to the FX. The FX is already connected to group number 1, so sends. So my FX reverb A that I'm using, reverb time is 1.0 milliseconds and pre-delay is right there. Take my reverb back a little bit to negative 15.57. Now back to our inserts. I'm gonna involve another second compressor, this one right here. I'm gonna turn it on and see how I can control up the vocal even more. 2 compressors are better than 1. I don't want to crank up our first compressor. I really want these two like to help each other and, you know, not overwork it. And now we want to get our vocal sitting in that area where it sounds, you know, it has its own space. So what I'm gonna do is come to the instrumental, come to edit channel, and just cut a little bit of that area where the piano is a little bit sharp, just like this. There are areas where the singer, the breaths are just too much, so you just have to like come there, cut, and then take the vocal just a little bit to control the breathing, just like this. So now let's take a listen to our before and our after. So what I'm gonna do is turn off Studio EQ, VST Dynamics, compressor, de-esser, and come to our main lead and turn off the first plugin that we started with, Maximizer, and take a listen to our before, the plugins. And now what I'm gonna do is turn on maximizer and turn on all the plugins, and this is gonna be our after. So Studio EQ, VST, Dynamics Compressor, de-esser. This is how far we've gotten.
Isa kuli Yesu eka ni Yesu eka enga kupusu she nangu fiafina shani ni Yesu eka enga kupusu sha Isa kuli Yesu eka ni Yesu eka enga kupusu she.
Beautiful, right? The last part is for me to mix the backing vocals. All right, these are the lead is the same as this one, so I know that once I control the dynamics or work with the plugins on group number 1, which is for the leads, I know that the second lead was recorded in the same room, so the changes are not much. Unless if there are any changes, then I'm just gonna do a little bit of a separate EQ on verse number 2, but for now I know that it's just gonna work out. Come to this part, preset management, and just save what every plugin that I have, VBF, all these plugins, and what I want is just to bring them into, or copy and paste into group number 2. So I have all these plugins which are in group number 1, the ones that I used, and now I've taken them also to the backings, the chorus part. So let's go ahead and do our balancing of the backings, and if there is need to EQ the backings, I love to EQ the backings by removing a lot of low end, so the backings don't have too much bass to them. So this is what I'm gonna do now.
Ni Yesu eka enga kupususha Ramune Isa kuli Yesu eka ni Yesu eka enga kupususha nangu fiafina shani ni Yesu eka enga kupususha Isa kuli Yesu eka ni.
Check this out. What I've done is just to remove some of that low frequency or bass, just like what I said in group number 2. So I have used the edit channel settings and opened up, used the main equalizer, just cut like that, and also lifted up the highs so that the backings can have that air added to them. The other thing that I've done is just to pan the vocals. These are recorded in mono, so these two are the same and these two are the same, so I want them to like have their own space. So the first one is panned to left 55, and then the second one right 55. The other one is panned 62, and the other one left 62. And these are the ones that, these are the vocals that I'm talking about.
Isa kuli Yesu eka Isa kuli Yesu eka Isa kuli Yesu eka.
All right, so those are the vocals, and this one, since this one is single, I'm just gonna leave it on the middle, this high one. So let's go ahead and balance the vocal.
Ni Yesu eka enga kupususha Ramune Isa kuli Yesu eka ni Yesu eka enga kupususha nangu fiafina shani ni Yesu yeka engakupususha Ramuneisa kuli Yesu yeka ni Isa kuli Yesu yeka ni Yesu yeka engakupususha nangu fyafina shani ni Yesu yeka engakupususha ni Yesu yeka engakupususha nangu fyafina shani ni Yesu yeka.
On the backings, I have raised around, just giving it up, added a little bit of that boost, which is around 2K area, just to open up the vocal and just to make it cut through a little bit. And then also onto our main EQ, just lift it up a little bit, and probably I'm gonna also do this just a little bit like this, so that the vocal, the backings can have that air added to them. And also you saw me reduce just a little bit of this makeup gain of our limiter, just a little bit of the output to 1.5 dB. Now what I'm gonna do is add denoiser to the backing, since there are many backing vocals, and also apart from that we have raised up the highs a little bit higher than the ones the way we raised onto our lead. So there is that floor noise that gets raised up. So to control that, you use a plugin which is called denoiser. You come to restoration and go to denoiser and just set it up, set it on medium, and now take a listen to this.
Nangu fyafina shani ni Yesu yeka engakupususha Ramuneisa kuli Yesu yeka ni Yesu yeka engakupususha nangu fyafina shani ni Yesu yeka.
And now we are gonna add our reverb effects plugin to group number 2. So let's go ahead, go into sends, come to select send, open up reverb A and send it all the way. With the backings, I love the reverb to be a little bit more, so I'm gonna take it to maybe 13.91. Let's take a listen to this.
Ramuneisa kuli Yesu yeka ni Yesu yeka engakupususha nangu.
This is the same as this part, so what I'm gonna do is just to look at the numbers for this, which is -5 dB. I'm just gonna do the same -5 dB. This is the same as this. This is just copy and paste, so -4. So I'm just gonna get this, put it up on -4, and then this is the same as this, so I'm gonna get this to -5, just like that. So they are the same.
Ramuneisa kuli Yesu yeka ni Yesu yeka engakupususha Yesu yeka ni Yesu yeka engakupususha nangu fika tondu ifyo wasenda uleti mwandi kwena fyafina ani nani uwingatula fika tundu inefyafina lelo naisakuliwe numei ndeti Yesu eka ewatu finile palya palupanda pakutiwe na inei tusangyo mweo ani Yesu eka enga kupususha.
Alright, so guys, this is how you mix vocals using Cubase plugins from start to finish. And I hope this video has helped you to speed up your workflow in Cubase 5. And if that has helped you, don't forget to leave this video a like. I will see you in the next one.